This week on This and That Garage, we will, yes, I'm jinxing myself, but I'm going to go ahead and say it. We will hear this car run this week. We will have this back on the road this week. We will be done with that this week. Now that I'm done jinxing myself, I can't get none of that done talking to y'all. So let us get busy. If you will recall, last week I ended up going to have to shorten the drive shaft and possibly pull the transmission back out. Well, you know what? Phooey on those two items. We're going to hear this thing run firstly. Yes, sir. We're focusing on that at the first of the video. We're going to hear this thing run. Then we'll worry about that other stuff so we can take it for a drive. I got most of this done, but my phone's ringing. Let me answer that. I'll be right back. It's spam. Let's talk to them. Oh, man, they hung up. Dadgummit. I usually mess with them. Anyway, before I was rudely interrupted by the spam people, what was I saying? I don't know. Let's just start over. I got stuff to do under the hood is what I'm saying. Electrical and whatnot. We got to put our intake throttle body on. Cold air induction with the MAF sensor. And I got to program it. Here's the deal. I was wanting to hear it run today, but we probably won't because... well, my cable's inside. It's got what's called an ALDL cable, hooks right here, then hooks to the port under the dash. That's what lets me communicate with it, data log, and program. Well, the end of that cable, I took it apart so I could use it on the four-wheelie drive. I was troubleshooting some stuff with it with the transmission a couple years ago, a little longer than that. But anyway, I know when I took that cable end apart, I know I wrote it down somewhere how it was wired up. Well, I've lost that. Sure have. I don't know how to wire it up, but I do have an email into a company, hopefully the one I bought it from, and they can tell me how to wire it up. If they do, we might hear it run tonight. If not, then I got to wait on them or possibly buy a new cable. But anyways, let us get busy and get all this done under the hood. Well, I just realized that I do not have the fans installed. After I put the radiator in. I don't know if I can take this off. I probably do. I don't know that it'll go in with the water pump installed either. But anyway, let's focus on that firstly. I'm going to go ahead and take these hoses out of the way because they'll probably be in the way of getting that fan back in. Let us remove this one also. And any other ones I think might be in the way. You get out of the way. Let's move it out of the way too. Get this connector off this temperature sensor. This has two temperature sensors. Well, one's a sending unit, like a regular old small block Chevrolet. You got one on the front of the water pump. That's the one that the computer goes off of to tell, water temperature, and that's how it fuels it and gives it timing. Or at least it's one of the inputs anyway. All right, that stuff is out of the way. Let's see what we can do. Wait a minute. Let me take that off. I'm not real sure which way it goes. I think this is right. Will it go in without having to take the water pump off? It may not go in at all because we got hoses in the way right here. I think it may come from the bottom. Let's try that. If I can get this back out without tearing the radiator up. Yeah, let me raise it up. I think it'll go in from the bottom better. All right, let's see if we can get this little fella on up in here. I took a few more hoses off. Yeah, I think it's going to slide right in if I can find them little fellers that's supposed to slide in too. And there we go, fellers. I think she just fell right in. Oh yeah. Well, let's go ahead and hook these plugs up for it too. Then I'll put the hoses back on and we'll be done with that. Let me show y'all real quickly. Remember on Dude, we were having trouble with cooling and whatnot. I put 2 pusher fans on the other side. And then we had to cut holes in it, to let airflow come through while we're going down the road. Well, that's what this is for. It's probably supposed to be a flap here, but it doesn't fell off. There's another one up top there. Maybe they're supposed to be open. I don't know, but that's why I did what I did. Get more airflow going down the road. Now, some of y'all, well, a couple of you anyway, I don't know, maybe you just wasn't paying attention, but you asked me, why didn't you put it on the other side for it to be a puller? Well, I thought I couldn't because the blower and stuff was in the way. It wouldn't let me mount it. That's why we put it on the front side. Anyway, I just thought I'd show you that. Well, I think we got the cooling system done again. I got all the hoses hooked back up. Let's put this ignition control module and coil on. But let me get some of this wiring out of the way firstly. This here, I think that's something I added on. I think it goes to, I tried methanol injection on this. I think this is the wire to the pump, but it shouldn't be but 2 wires. There's 4 here. I'll have to figure out what I was doing later, but for now we'll put that over here out of the way. Let's get this here feller bolted to this head. That's got 2 plugs. Which one is which? I think this one. No, wait a minute. That ain't them. That is probably idle air and TPS. This here might be for the ignition. Let's see. No, that's not them either. This is air conditioner, I believe. So let me. Oh, wait a minute. Here they are. I found them. There's also a ground wire I got to hook up. So no 2 ground wires. No 3 ground wires. There's a stud there. I'll have to get a nut and hook them up. But let me get these here little fellers plugged in firstly. Does this one fit in here? No, sir. Well, maybe it's this one right here. Yes, sir. Now let me find a nut and put these ground wires on this post right here. Ground wires installed. What's next? Trying to figure out what these are. What did I say? That's probably TPS and idle air control. And then I think that's aircon. This one I don't know. I found a diagram the other day online that showed where all the plugs went. So let me go look at that real quickly. And then we'll continue hooking stuff up. Well, I looked at my picture and it shows every connector. I'm trying to hook up the Earl sending unit right now, or Earl pressure sending unit. All right, got that. Like I said, that's idle air control and throttle position sensor. I believe this is MAF, mass airflow. And I told y'all that was for the meth injection pump. But I don't know why I've got so many wires. Anyway, we'll bundle them up. I got a wire. Let's see, that's for the amp. Here, this wire here, where does this go? That is for the pressure switch for the meth injection. I remember having it mounted over here, but I guess I took it away. I don't know where it's at, but anyway, let me get this here alternator hooked up. Where'd my wrench go? All right, let's slide this little boot over it so it don't get shorted out on nothing. All right, let me slide this little boot over it so it don't get shorted out on nothing. What's got it? I ain't got a clue, man. Ain't got a clue. But it won't move. Well, let me get this boot slid up on here so we don't short out our hot wire. Then I'll be back. Maybe. Come on, man. Well, as you can tell, we're up under the car now. We got lots of wires and lots of wires that I don't know where they go. You got 1, 2, 3, 4. That's a square one. In 96, they went to 4 O2 sensors. But I don't know if I told you or not, I have a 95 computer in this car because the software to tune it back then was a lot cheaper. So in 95, they didn't have 4, they only had 2. So we don't use that one. But these ones, well, I'm not sure. we got a connector over here, but if I put that over there, these won't reach over here. So I don't think they will. Let me see what happens real quick. No, sir, that ain't gonna work. Do I have a connector over here that might reach it? I wonder, hey, that's probably what it is. I got 2 wires here that have been cut. There's no connector on them. Yeah, I don't know what that's for. I'll have to read. You got 1 here and 2 up here. I don't know if they're speed sensors. This one here is, okay, I know what that is, I think. It's a CAGS or CARS, computer-aided ratio selector or computer-aided gear selector. When you're cruising in these cars, cruising through town, take off a red light, if you're not going a certain mile an hour, a certain throttle position, and certain vacuum, then it forces you into fourth, from first to fourth. Stupidest thing I've ever seen. And that's what that is. I tune it out so it don't matter about it. But the rest of them, well, I don't know. I bet that one goes right there. Let's see if it do. Well, no. Yeah, it did. It went in. Now this one here, will it reach? Will it reach back here? Oh, yeah. Now this one here's probably the speed sensor. But it don't want to reach all the way. What's going on? There's no way possible for that to reach in its current configuration. Tell you what, let me figure all this out. I'll be back. I ain't gonna let y'all sit there and watch me fumble around with wires. I shall return. Well, I think I got all the wires situated on transmission. I had one plug way up there that was stuck. I brought it down. And my CAGS that I told you about, this ain't it. I believe it's right up here at the shifter. But anyway, I got all them hooked up. I got oil level sensor hooked up. O2 sensor over here. This whatever is, I'm assuming this is a speed sensor. I don't know. Then I got my starter wires hooked up. Here's a plug, just like this one here, for the rear O2 sensors. We don't use them. There's the O2 sensor we will be using. Where did it go? It's over on the table. Tell you about that in a minute. Then remember these wires that were cut? Well, it's 3, not 2. I know where they go. I'll tell you about that here in a minute. What I got to do firstly, though, remember the other night I was trying to knock this collector off of the header. Well, I whooped this bung where the O2 sensor goes in. I whooped it accidentally with a hammer. I have squished it. My O2 sensor won't go in now, so I got a tap. It's the M18 1.5, and I got to run this tap in there and hopefully clean them threads up where I can get that O2 sensor in. I got another bung next to it, but it's for the wideband O2 sensor. I got one of them we got to hook up sometime too. But hopefully we can get this little fella here to do right here in a moment. All right, I think I cleaned these threads up. Let me get this tap out of there and we'll put the O2 sensor in here. I'm gonna put a little bit of anti-seize on these threads from this O2 sensor. Maybe it won't be a pain to get them loose if we ever have to change them. They may be bad now, I don't know. They're several years old. All right, let me plug this in up here. Just like right there. Then I'm gonna tie this up somewhere, get it away from the headers. I'll figure that out in a minute. But let me show you about these 3 wires here that I didn't know where they went. These 3 wires right here go right up here. It would be called a crank position sensor. We don't need them. Well, they started using them in '96 on the OBD2 systems. Well, remember me telling you, we're running a '95 computer because the software, tuning software was a lot cheaper back 30 years ago. So what I'll do is just tape them up and get them out of the way. Even if we wanted to use it, we couldn't, because here's the reluctor wheel. Yeah, it goes behind the balancer, behind the, what's that called? Timing chain cover? Yep. I saw that the other day. It's like, huh, forgot to put that on. It don't matter because we ain't using it. Anyway, let me get them tied up out of the way and get all my other stuff tied up out of the way. And I'm going to go take me a little break. And then when we come back, I don't know, we'll do something else. I reckon everything's done under the car. I was fixing to hook my fuel lines up, and well, this goes into the end of the fuel pressure regulator. It's got a little clip that slips over it. I saw it over there last night in a pile of old parts. I guess I picked it up and going to put it somewhere safe where I wouldn't forget, lose it. Well, guess what? I ain't got a clue what I did with it. Sure don't. So I got to try to find one of them. Well, let me see if I can get the other side hooked up real quick. Come on, man, get on there. What size are you, little buddy? Approximately a 3/4, maybe a 13/16. I don't know. 3/4 it is. All right. Half the fuel line is installed anyway. Let's get the cold air induction on top of there. Well, I was fixing to put on our upper intake here. As you can see, I painted it and I've already scratched the paint off. But got 4 bolts here, and they're apparently metric, because a 1/4-20 don't fit, a 1/4-28 don't fit. Where the bolts are that I used to use? Great question, glad you asked. Wish I could answer it. And then I have looked 30 minutes for this clipper for the fuel line. Ain't got a clue what to do with it. That just blows my mind. Well, then I thought, let's put a belt on. Well, I got 2 belts. One's longer than the other. Where'd the other one go? Oh, it's laying in the floor. I got 2 different belts. I got these out from the garage over there. If I remember right, I got a smaller pulley that takes a shorter belt. So this is the bigger pulley. We're going to try it first. So let's put the bigger belt on, see if it fits. If it does, great. Then probably going to be done because, well, I'm out of parts and I can't find them. This should be lots and lots of fun because you can't see, you can't feel. Tell you what I might do. Let's see if I can get it from the top. If I can't, then, well, I may have to go down below and get some of it ran. I mean, you literally can't get your hand down in there to that crank pulley. What in the devil, man? Why did I buy this car? All right, we got her on the crank now. Then we got to go around the Powie Stewie alternator. I don't know where else. Well, which one is which? I got them. There we go. All right, it's going to go around the tensioner backside. Go around the air con here. Wraps around Powie Stewie alternator blower. I'm missing something because it's really loose now. It might have come off the crank. I think it did. Yeah, it's come off the crank. Now, that's it. I got to get my utensils and move that tensioner. Y'all are in my way. You got to move. Sorry. If I can't reach this feller down in here to the tensioner. There we go. Come on. By George, that's really loose, so that's not it. We're not on somewhere. Let me investigate. Well, we're on everything. That's just the wrong belt, I guess. So let me take this son of a gun off and put the other one on. Is this one gonna do it? No, sir. Loose as a goose. Well, I don't know what's going on. Loosey-goosey. That's the only 2 belts I've got, so I don't know. Well, I found another belt over in the garage. It's a lot shorter than the others, and yeah, it won't even think about it. So I don't know unless that I forgot. You know, it's not a stock dampener, so it may be bigger around or smaller. So none of the belts I have will work. I don't know. I'm about to get aggravated though, because I've lost bolts, I've lost the clip, I've lost my belt. So anyway, I think I'm gonna call her a day. If I get some of this figured out, I'll see y'all tomorrow. Till the next day. Actually, it's 2 days later because yesterday was a complete waste of time. Sure was. Run around town half the day getting a belt. I finally found one that'll fit well. Actually, I'll explain that in a minute. MLS has just hit me left and right here lately with this car. Anyway, when I got a belt, I got some bolts, metric bolts for the top of the blower there, for a little intake. Then I spent literally hours trying to get this computer here to talk to this computer here. Complete waste of time. This little USB to RS-232 cable. This is the second one I bought in 2 days thinking that was the issue. I did find a feller that had one of these cables, and I'm assuming I got it wired up right. I don't think that's the issue. I think the computer is bricked. And let me just explain it to you real quickly. There it is right there. When you're programming these computers, if you lose communication, you brick the computer. Well, 25 years ago, I did that the very first time I tried to program it. And the only way to fix it is you had to tear the computer apart. There's 2 chips, unsolder them, put new ones on. Or you can do what I did. You put sockets in place where the chips are, and then you can just pop a chip in and out if you brick it. I've done that once or twice. But every once in a while, it will act up because I think one of my connections is sort of iffy on my the chip holder socket. I think that's what's going on. So what I'm going to do is pull that computer out, take it apart and look at it, make sure everything's okay. We may end up having to buy another one. I just looked, and you can get one on eBay, used one, of course, for $200. May have to do that. But let me just tell you about yesterday. I got the injector rails on. I got my fuel lines hooked up. Hit the key. The fuel pump will come on for about a half second. Oh, let me tell you this firstly. Remember I had a security light on, flashing on the dash? Well, apparently I did not turn the security off on this car when I programmed it, because that goes away when I put this little feller here. Where did it go? I've probably done lost it too. Yep, appears that I have. Well, I did have a little chip laying right here that goes in my key. That's the security. It's like a little resistor. I put that in, turned it on, security light went out. Fuel pump will run more, and it'll actually turn over. With that security light flashing, the starter won't even turn over. Anyway, turned the key on, fuel was flowing, and I had 4 injectors leaking. So I pulled these back apart, put new O-rings on the injectors. Here's something that's odd though. Remember, we don't have our clipper holding our line on. That's the return line. And it ain't making enough pressure to blow that off. It makes, I think I had it set like 55 PSIs on the fuel pressure. It should blow that line right off, and it's not. So fuel pump may be bad. Does have gas in it, and let me tell you, it stinks. Ooh, it smells like wood stain. I mean, literally, it's pretty bad. We'll drain the tank some kind of way. Anyway, the belt, well, y'all see here, it's fairly tight. Well, this is one of the belts we tried the other night. The shortest belt we had that wouldn't fit, I got one a half inch longer. Put it on, let go of the tensioner, it just flopped. I was like, no, something ain't right. The tensioner is not tensioning. If I pull the tensioner the other way to make it tighten up manually, well, then it takes the slack out. It probably will do okay once we get it turning over and spinning. It'll probably tighten up then, hopefully. Then, like I said, I got some bolts for that. And then been fiddling with this computer. I don't know. Well, I don't know what I'm going to do. What's probably going to happen, if I can't fix the computer, we're going to roll this little fella out here, roll it right over here. She's going to sit for a while because about had my feel. Yep. This will probably be the last computer-driven vehicle you will see on the channel. I hate them. I despise them because of this right here. Yep. Anyway, let me pull the computer out, pull it apart, and see what I can figure out. Here's the deal, fellas. This car is going to drive me to drinking is what it's going to do. Yeah, it's a couple hours later after I just talked to y'all. And, well, I've been on the computer doing a little research and whatnot, and remember me telling you about the USB to RS-232 adapter. You have to have drivers for it. Wasn't sure if it was working or not. Remember I told you that's the second one I bought in 2 days. Well, you can use what is called a hyper-terminal program and check it out, make sure it's working, and it's working. So the drivers are good. This adapter is not the problem. Only thing left is I either got it hooked up wrong or the computer's bad. Well, I pulled the computer out. Remember how I told you that I soldered some sockets onto the board where you could pull the chips in and out? Well, here's one side, and there's no evidence that I have desoldered and put sockets in. And then you go to the other one on this side. Let me get my little screwdriver, pick her up. Just like that right there. You look at this side, 'tis no sockets that I have installed. This is not the computer that I did that to. Where did this computer come from? I don't know. Well, I knew I had one other computer, the one that come with on this car from the factory. So I went into my metal shed, got to looking. Well, I got not one but two more computers. This one is just like this one. This one is the one I put the sockets on them, I bet, if I took it apart. And then this one, I done looked that number up right there. It's for 96. This is the factory one it come with. I have no recollection of buying another computer. I really don't. The only thing I can think of is maybe I thought, during trying to tune this thing, keep it from doing the knock and ping and whatever, I thought, well, maybe this one here's messed up due to, them sockets acting up sometimes. And I bought this one. The only thing I can come up with. We may hook this one up in a minute, see what it does, see if it'll communicate. But look here what I found also when I found these. I knew I had all this stuff. I just forgot about it. Well, here is this little package here. Come in these cigars. Let me open it up. Wrapped up in all this is 2 chips. These are the ones that you pop in. Well, that actually may be sockets too. I can't tell. It may be. I don't know. But that's part of what I told you about, putting them sockets in so you could just pop a chip in and out just in case you brick the computer. Well, the only thing I got left, his first name's gone because the dad blamed Mises. Last name was Sultan. Lived in, is that DeKalb, Illinois? 60115. I might have to get in contact with him. But then I found this box here. Well, it's got spark plug-ins. It's got a CD case. The CD's gone. You ain't got a clue where it's at. What is that feller there? I don't know. But it's got an ALDO cable. Look here. This is RS-232. But then the other end doesn't have a plug. It's just bare wires and an instruction sheet. So what we're going to do firstly is hook this computer back up and use this cable because it's got instructions that tells me where to plug what. And if it still don't communicate, we'll hook this old computer up. If it still don't communicate, this car will be for sale. I've got to get away from it for a little while because I'm about to lose my mind, seriously. I'm going to go take a little break. When I come back, we'll do all that stuff and hopefully we can get it to communicate. Look at here. Would you just look at it? Would you look at that going across that screen? What does it say? Reading PCM memory. Hallelujah! Woo-hoo-hoo! I tell you, this is about to drove me nuts. I'll tell you all about it here in a minute. Let me get this done. All right, let me explain what's going on. Remember the cable that I just found over there in the cardboard box? That's the one I used first because the instructions told me which wire colors to put where. It worked. Well, if you can see, I am doing the same thing again, reading PCM memory, using the first cable I've been trying to use for 2 days. Now that I know which colors go where, well, guess what? It's reading. Yeah. I found a guy on LT1 Nation that had one of these old cables. It had the same wire colors. He sent me a picture of it, and that's how I've been hooking it up. It ain't worked. And I have swapped the wires around, but there's 4 wires and 16 pins there that could go in and, anyway, now that I got that working, this is awesome. I got 2 cables that work. I can't cut this off because it'll mess it up. Once it gets done with this, I'm going to go in the house and get on the computer, go through the tune, and then after I do that, I'll download it into here. What else have I got to do to the motor to be able to run it? We've got to put our little induction system here with the throttle body, get that hooked up. I want to get that old gas out. It's got, well, let's just look at the gauge. I think it's about 1/4 of a tank's what it was showing. No, it's about 1/8 of a tank, but I still want to get it out because it's 13 years old and it smells like wood stain. After that, I got to put some radiator fluid in it. I forgot all about that. Got to do that. Hook the computer back up, and I think we'll be able to fire it up. Let me get all that done. I'll be back and Fingers crossed, say your prayers, cross your toes and your eyes that this goes good. Because it's about to get on my nerves. All right, fellers. Let's get this old feller put together. Maybe we can fart up and see what it's going to do. I'm sure glad I found that other cable out there in the metal shed. I'd still be scratching my head, I guess. I don't understand that because I tried them wires on that other cable every which way you could. Never would act right. Well, it took about 16 years to get those bolts tight, but I finally did. Now we're going to put this feller here on, but we're hitting, what are we hitting? The coil. Well, how can that be, fellers? Because I used to run this. This is very interesting. We're hitting the coil, and that won't fit. Does the coil go the other way, flip over? Maybe so. Let me do that, flip that around. I'll be back. Well, I looked at a picture of an LT1, and I had this coil and ignition control module upside down. So I flipped her around. Let's tighten her back up, and maybe it'll work. Got to hook all my grounds back up. If I can find them, I think it was 3. Does that sound about right? There's 1. There's 2. There's a 3. Now will this little fella here fit? Oh yeah, look here. I had an Allen wrench. Here it is. I found it. Also, no, by the way, I said I was going to drain the gas tank. Fooey on it. It ain't got but 1/8 of a tank. I'll go to the store here in a minute. We'll get us about 10 gallons of gasolines and put in it, and that'll dilute it pretty good. Now, I can finally hook up the TPS and IAC. I can get them run under here. These one will go here. I ain't got enough stuff. What's going on? This one will go here. This one will go here. That there's a little tight. Let's see if I can get a little more slack in that. Oh yeah. I had to extend, I think, these 2 sensors, and it seemed like it was something else. Maybe the MAF sensor. Because, you know, throttle body was here. As well, here my wires wouldn't reach. My fuel lines, I don't remember them being in the way like this of the throttle. That's kind of odd. But let me hook this throttle cable up. How did you go? Just like that right there, and then wrapped under it. I think so. Then, oh, I see now. She slides up in. I think like that right there. Oh yeah, buddy, look at there. We got his throttle cable again. Now I got to do something with these fuel lines because they're gonna be in the way, and I got to get them up off the headers. What if I did that and wire tied them some kind of way? I think that's what I'll do. Maybe right there. And we need to. Let's do that now. Screw this. What's that called? Proportional valve down. I got some screws just long enough for just that. Well, I was going to screw this line lock to the shock tower. I bought screws for it because it's so thick. Went to Lowe's just for that purpose to buy screws for this, and then I bought a couple other small boxes of self-tappers. It's been a couple weeks ago. Where they are, I don't know. You got a clue. Well, like this clip for the fuel line, laid it right here. I know I did. It's gone. Today, the little resistor chip for the key, the security part, I laid it on my Bluetooth box over there. I know I did. I laid it right in the quarter. It's gone. Apparently, I just lay stuff down. And I don't know if it's the Mises stealing it or what it is, but anyway, let's put this here in and then hook up the MAF sensor. I remember this being a pain. How did I used to put that on there? Come on, man. There she goes. There's a couple of vacuum lines. One of them's here. It goes down to the Opti. if I can find it. I got to have a fleece lead. This is supposed to keep air circulating in the Opti, keep it dried out. I don't know that it does anything, but we'll hook it up just in case it does. If I can find it. Let's see. Well, I think I'm gonna have to raise it up for that. Yeah, I can't find that. So anyway, this line here, I do not recall where it used to go. Maybe, I don't know, fellers. Been 13 years. Maybe it went up here and up to here. Will it reach? Oh yeah, it reaches just fine and dandly right there. What's next? I got this and this open. I think it's got to do with the PCV valve. Let me figure that out. I got to tie these fuel lines up to get them off the header and out of the way of the throttle. I got to rig up some kind of way to hold the return line to the fuel pressure regulator because I lost that clip. Let me get this little knick-knack bullcrap done. I'll be back. Well, I think I got everything hooked up. I had a little trouble with my vacuum lines. I couldn't remember where they went. The one that we had here going under here for the, what's that called, Opti? No, sir. They don't go there. I don't know. We don't go anywhere. It's just hanging out down there for now. I ain't worried about it. Rest of them are hooked up. I don't have any water in it yet, but I want to hit the key to see what it does. It's fuel injected, so you cycle the key a few times, let water or gas, hopefully it ain't water, let gas circulate through the injector rails, and it shouldn't take it very long to fire up. But anyway, let me show you my software right here. It's called CATS Tuners. Got to go here and get my file, tune one. I didn't change much in this, just basically, well, let me just show you. See, this is all the stuff. Well, hang on. Let me make it big. All this stuff here, that stuff you can tune. But from about right here, all this and then all this is mostly automatic transmission stuff. I don't care nothing about that. Most of this stuff I won't change, but you got, where's that? Nope, wrong one. Let me go back. Come on, man. Oh, let me show you this. VATS Select. That is Vehicle Anti-Theft Security or Vehicle Anti-Theft System. It has to have an X to be enabled. Well, it's not enabled, so we shouldn't have to have that chip in the key. But then you come up here to the constants. I changed this cylinder volume. It was like 717, not 726. I thought it was 727. That's odd. And then the injector flow rate, I had 40, but I'm pretty sure those are 48-pound injectors, if I'm not mistaken. So I put that at 48. The rest of it I left it alone, but there's just so much stuff to change in this. Here's your spark tables. This is the main thing I used to worry about. Because I didn't want any kind of detonation. But it goes all the way to 100. Well, let me tell you this. I forgot to tell you all that. It's got a MAP sensor. I believe it's manifold absolute pressure. It measures vacuum, basically, in the intake. Well, we're going to have boost here. And it's a 2-bar map. Normally, you'd have 1 bar. Well, it's a 2-bar for boost. So you split it in half, and 50 kPa, that's basically 0 boost. And then anything past that, from 50 on to 100 is boost. And you have to, do your timing accordingly. But it's just got all kind of stuff. Here's the, where is it at? Knock sensor, knock fast attack, and knock retard recovery, max knock retard versus RPM versus MAP. And it's just got all kind of stuff. Like I said, the only thing I changed was the cylinder volume and a couple other things. This is how you load her in. You go program PCM. I got to turn the ignition on. Well, let's just read that. Connect the PCM interface cable to the computer and diagnostic. Turn the ignition on. Engine not running. Interrupt the program process can damage your PC. I already know about that. Yep, I've bricked it 2 or 3 times. Goes all over the. All right, here we go. Let's put a program in it. See what it does. Here the fans come on. That tells you that it's communicating. If your fans ever come on and stay on, you're in trouble because you done bricked the computer. But here it is loading it up. When that gets done, I'll be back and let's see if the thing will fire up. All right, fellas, I got the tune in. Let me get in this thing so I can push the clutch pedal down. Here we go. First time in about 13 years, old girl. Hopefully, gonna fire up. Fire and hold. Well, fire and hold again. So, I'm so sick of this car, man. It won't do nothing. Absolutely nothing. I got an idea what's going on. Let me investigate. I'll get back to you. I'm so sick of it. I really am. I want to run it off in the river. Well, here's the deal. I ain't got a clue. I think, well, let me just tell you this. It's that resistor chip in the key. I don't understand that because I got VATS turned off. It shouldn't need that key or that chip, as far as I understand. Well, today when I walked in here, I had the key and the chip. I was actually putting the chip in the key. I was like, no, wait a minute. I want to experiment. So I come right over here, set it right here, and turned around here, went to fooling with this, and then I decided, well, let's try that chip. Come back over here a few minutes later, nowhere to be found. Just like the clip for the fuel line, nowhere to be found. I don't know. It grew legs, walked away. So until I get a chip in the key or figure out a way to actually bypass it, we're done. I'm aggravated, very. Going in the house, maybe I'll see y'all tomorrow. I don't know. Tis the next night again. Yes, sir, it is. I think it's like midnight. It sure is. I've been cutting down trees and climbing on rooftops and, well, just doing a little bit of everything today. Finally got out here, got a little time to fool with this. I've been fooling with it for, I don't know, an hour or two. Just piddling. But y'all watch this. Just watch. Would you look at it? Would you just look at it? Listen. Oh, yeah. She's spinning over. Slowly, but she's spinning over. We'll discuss that in a minute. Let me tell you and show you what I did. Remember me telling you that these have what's called a VATS system, Vehicle Anti-Theft System. There's two things on it. One is that, let me get the key out and I'll just show you again. It's got a little resistor pellet in the key, and that's what I have lost. I laid her right there, I promise you, that's where I laid it. She disappeared. It goes in this key right here. See that hole in the middle of the key? It goes in there. I don't know where it's at. It has a certain resistance value. They use 15 different values on these cars. They sell a kit with resistors of those 15 different values. And, well, these will act up, but you can still read the resistance and go underneath there and wire that resistor in, and there you go. You've bypassed this pellet. Well, if you've lost it like me, you just have to trial and error 15 different resistors till you get it to work. Also, that's not what I did, by the way. There's another way to bypass it. Also, I showed y'all yesterday in the tune, well, there's a place to turn the VATS off. Well, I have learned since then that not only does it have this pellet in the key, it's also got what's called a theft deterrent module, and it receives a 50 hertz signal from somewhere. Where? I don't know. Probably tied to that pellet, but I don't know for sure. That's what we're turning off in the tune, that 50 hertz signal. There's no way to bypass this pellet in the tune. There is one more way to bypass that pellet, though. Let me show you right over here. It's kind of hard to get to. It's called the theft deterrent relay. And the starter wiring circuit goes through it. Let me get a flashlight so y'all can see it. Maybe. Well, as you can see, I'm up under the dash. Here's the glove box right here. See this white wire with this ring terminal? Well, there's a relay behind here. That's called the theft deterrent relay. Your starter wiring goes through that relay. The theft deterrent module turns that relay on. If you don't see that signal from that resistor pellet, well, it don't do it. Well, what you do is cut the ground wire for that relay, ground it, and as soon as you turn the key on, that relay closes. It closes the starter circuit. There you go, you got a starter. Very, very, very aggravating. I don't know, does the security light still flash? I didn't check that. Let me put the key back in. I'm sure it will because it's not getting the signal from this chip. Oh yeah, it still flashes. Was another guy on YouTube had a, I don't know, 95, 96 Camaro. He claims if your security light is flashing, you can turn the key on, leave it on for 10 minutes, and then it'll eventually quit flashing, turn it off, try to start it, and it should start. But that may be only the case if you've got a pellet. I don't know, fellers. All I know is I hate electronic vehicles. I despise them, especially when I got to work on them. Anyway, you heard the starter is just barely turning it over. I think the battery's bad. Brand new battery. It is Walmart brand. I've had pretty good luck with them, though. What I'm going to do is, well, I done checked it with my battery checker. It pegged all the way bad. Sure did. I'm going to let it charge up completely. It's going to take a little while. And I'll check it again with the checker. Pretty sure it's going to check bad. If it does, we'll take that back tomorrow. I could get another battery in here and jump it. I don't feel like fooling with it. It's, like I said, it's after midnight. I think what I am going to do, though, let's go ahead and put us some tires on to get that out of the way. And then maybe tomorrow we can try to start it. I don't know. Knowing my luck, well, I shouldn't even say it. Knowing my luck, the battery's probably good and it's going to be something else that I got to chase for 2 weeks. I don't know. I'm disgusted with this car, fellas. This is why it has sat so long. I hate electronic cars with a passion. Anyway, let me work on the tires a little bit. Wait a minute. Before we get on the tires, well, the battery charger says it's done. FLO means it's float charging, meaning it's fully charged. So let me take it off of there and hook up my handy dandy battery tester real quick. Let me do that and I'll be back. All right, I got it hooked up and it's showing, I don't know how many volts, 12, 13, a little over 13 voltages. Let me hit the trigger here. Well, now how is it doing that, fellas? It's showing, what is that? 600 amps, cranking amps. How did it go from literally being all the way over here to 0 to this in less than 5 minutes of charging? I don't believe that. No, sir. This checker usually ain't wrong though. Let me see if I can find another battery. I don't know, the Jolly Green Giant is side post, but it may be larger than this. Let me go see if it'll fit in here. We'll swap them out because I know that's a good battery. Well, it just so happens that Jolly Green has the exact same battery, so let's see what happens. I'm hoping it is a bad battery and not something else, starter or something even more expensive. I don't know. I'll tell you here in a minute. Battery's hooked up. What's it going to do? Same thing. Yep. Well, I got a little smoke. Maybe that's some evidence. Let me do a little troubleshooting and see what I got. By George, I think I have figured it out. I think it's going to be a pretty doggone simple fix. The starter, there's your starter right there. Solenoid is up in there. Well, you got one wire comes from your battery to your solenoid, and then the other post on your solenoid goes into the starter motor. That one there is loose. Why did I unloosen it 10 years ago? Well, I don't know. I was crazy, I guess. But anyway, let me let it down, undo a battery cable so I don't arc and spark. Tighten that up, bring it back down, hook the battery up, and I think that might fix it. If you own a lift, you probably already know this, but I'm going to tell you if you don't. Get you a 6-foot ladder. It will be your best friend ever, sure enough. I also lost a 10 mm socket down in the nose of the car. Kind of ironic that it's 10 millimeter. I might take that nose apart if it's easy after a while, see if I can get it back. There's probably some more stuff down in there too, ain't no telling. All right, let me get down here and tighten this up. Going down. Got her tightened up. Let me hit the key. Will it or won't it? Ain't a whole lot better. Oh man, it is some, but that's still dragging quite a bit. Very odd. Starter may be going out. I think that's good enough to start it. Let me go get some gasolines, and we'll put that in there and see what it does. Well, here's the deal. I got approximately 9 gallons of gasolines in the tank. I have cycled the key probably 20 times, turning it on and off, because the fuel pump only runs about 2 seconds, with the car not running, just enough to get pressure built up in the system. Well, I can hear the pump running. I can hear fuel rushing through the lines and fuel rails, so we're good there. Now, as far as what pressure's building, I ain't got a clue, because I had a high pressure gauge, but I don't know where it's at. I haven't had any need for it for years, so we're just going to have to pretend that it's got good fuel pressure. And I don't know if the VAT system turns off the injectors or not. I don't think it does, but you really need a Noid light. You hook it up to your injector plug, and it'll flash if the injector's getting a pulse, to fire. I ain't got no Noid light. So we're just running on a wing and a prayer right now, but let me set y'all on the camera stand, see if the whole thing will fire up. I still don't have the exhaust connected, so we're open header, so if it does fire, she's gonna be loud. Oh yeah. Fire in the hole. It wanted to there for just a second. Come on, girl. I don't know if there's something wrong with the starter. It's got to be. It's better than it was, but it's still just barely turning it over. Oh, look at there. Let me hit the start assist on this battery charger. We got a starter issue or something going on. 60 seconds is what it says, and we're only at about 30% of the battery, so yeah, something going on with the charging system, or the starter. Alright, it beeped at us. Let's see what it does. There's something going on. There's a squeaking noise that's not normal. No, sir, it sure ain't. I don't know what's going on, but yeah. Well, now it's showing that the battery needs reconditioning. I don't know what's going on. That starter is really draining the battery. I don't know what's going on there. Let's check it with the battery checker and see what it says. It is showing about 12.5 volts right now. Then you push the load button. It drops to 10.25 down to 200 cranking amps. And y'all saw, I'm going to show every bit of the cranking I did, and it's already got the battery that low. Yeah. 2 batteries in a row not going to be bad, so we'll liable to have a bad starter. I don't know. Well, I forgot about my electronical battery tester. One of y'all sent me that a year or two ago. I hooked it up, and it's showing 54% charge, but it's also showing 600 cold cranking amps. How does it come up with that? It's probably a calculation. Well, I guess if you look at my mechanical one, it didn't show it bad. It just come over here it was still in the green, but the weak yellow area too at 200 cold cranking amps. That mechanical one's never let me down. So I guess it probably is just run down. And like I said, I showed y'all all the cranking I did. That's not enough to drag this battery down that quick. So we got electrical issue, starter. I've never seen one go bad just sitting up, but MLS, it's liable to do anything. I'm gonna pull the starter off. If they still test them at the parts store, we may do that. I may run a few tests on my own, but it ain't gonna happen tonight. It won't happen tomorrow, because tomorrow's Sunday. Sunday is a day of rest. That's what I plan on doing. I hope y'all do the same. See y'all Monday. Till Sunday night, and this has been bugging me all day. Yep, sure has. Well, last night, after winning the house, I went and bought me on Amazon a DC clamp-on amp meter. That's what this is right here. Fix to do a little testing on the starter. See if it's bad or if I got something else going on. We'll test it under load first, turning the motor over. Once we do that, I'll unbolt it, let it hang, spin it over free, see what kind of amperage draw we're getting then, and that'll let us know if that starter's bad or motor or something wrong with it. I sure hope it ain't the latter, but you never know with MLS. Anyways, let's crank her over and see what it does. You want about 150 max amps with it under load, and you're turning the motor over. Free hanging like 50 to 80. Anyway, let me turn the backlight on. Hit the starter button. What happens? Well, fellas, we're going into OL, which means overload. I've got it on 400 amps, and yeah, it's pulling more than 400 amps. So let's try that one more time, see what it does. Hit the backlight. Yeah, it's overload. Well, that's not good. Let me take these bolts loose on the starter, let her hang, and see what happens. Not good. Not good at all. All right, let me get my gun hooked up. It's showing about 57, 58. It's supposed to be between 50 and 80, so that's good. I don't know, fellas. I'm a little worried now that something inside the motor is messed up. Let me scratch my head a little bit. Well, y'all watch this right here. I'm gonna put my ratchet on the crank, and it won't hardly. Well, I can't turn it. Ooh, it will not turn at all. Let me do a little experimenting here. Let's pull the belt off and just see what happens. All right, belt is off of the crank. Let's see what it do now. Fingers crossed, fellas. Fingers crossed. Oh, yeah, look here. Ain't nothing wrong with that motor. No, sir, it sure ain't. Praise Jesus, because I was about to have a heart attack right there. Now, which accessory is locked up? Let me get this belt out of the way. I know the alternator can't be. It's brand new. It's got to be good. Well, the power steering too. There's the idler or the tensioner. It's fine. Yep. It's AC. AC compressor locked up tighter than Dick's hat band. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. Whew. That is a load off my mind. I ain't gonna lie to you, fellas. That was quite stressful. I thought something in the motor had locked up. Whew. I guess that compressor just set up for 13 years and, well, it froze. I'll go get a price on one. It's probably not going to be cheap, but I want air back on this car, so let me get one ordered. Maybe AutoZone will have one in stock. If so, I'll go down there and get it tomorrow. We'll swap her out. Surely then, maybe we can get this car fired up. Tis Monday, and as you can see, we got us an AC compressor in the vise here. Last night after I turned the camera off, well, I did this right here. And that clutch turns. This is hooked to the internals. So that means the compressor itself is not locked up. This pulley, it spins all the time. And then you got a magnetical thing in here that makes this clutch squeeze onto the pulley. And that's what turns the compressor. Well, this pulley rides on a bearing. That bearing's locked up is what it is. You can get that bearing. Matter of fact, I got one coming. Well, there's one on at Ireland on the other side of town. Well, I'm having them ship it to the Ireland that I normally go to in the big town of Pleasant View because it's a lot closer. Be here 2-3 hours. So in the meantime, I want to try to get this pulley off and knock that bearing out. It's a special puller. Well, here's something else too. There's supposed to be a nut in there to hold this on, I think. Well, the nut's gone. I have no clue where it's at. Anyway, let me see if I can't get this off with maybe just a 3-jaw puller. Hopefully we won't tear nothing up. And then when that bearing gets here, we'll replace that, put her back on, and can we please get this pile of garbage to start? Well, I'm letting the AC compressor soak in Kroll oil. Got it stood on end, because down in there where the nut is supposed to be and the shaft is, really rusty. We'll let her soak. While that soaks, let's change some tires. These little fellers are stiff as a board also. Yep. I broke it down and it's done seated to be. Again, what in the world? Let me get a pry bar. It'd be nice if I had one of them new fancy machines. I think it's got a cylinder that pushes this down. They've made them where you just plumb lazy now. Ain't got to do nothing. This is interesting. Per usual, MLS states that this ain't going to go easy. Nothing around here ever does, man. It sure don't. I swear. Well, I got to take it back off and break a bead again, I guess. Maybe that'll work. Nope, it just popped right back on, so I'm not sure what I'm going to do here. I may end up taking it to a tire store. Ugh. Whew. Ode to the joys of modifying vehicles. Yep. Gotta love it. Oh, my finger. Well, whew. Get out of here. I had two 8540s on it for years. Well, you can't find them anymore, hardly. So I decided to go with the 285/35. They seem to be a little more plentiful. Is it directional? Yes, sir, it is. Well, this tire's too fat for this machine. It's hitting up here. Sure is. Let's see if I can make it go anyway. Oh yeah. Well, that ain't working. These tires are about to work me to death. What in the world, man? It's wanting to hang on this one here. It needs to be below it. Approximately like that. And then like that. Nope. Nope. And nope. Nope. Well, let me fight this. If I can get it to do right, I'll be back. It ain't gonna do it. Nope. Let me tell y'all what. That was a battle right there. I'm wore out. This is just the first tire. Let's see if it'll air up at least. That right there's terrible looking. Yeah, this looks really bad. Probably the backside too. Let's see what it looks like. No, it's popped on. I just got this one side here. Let me whoop on it with a Hummer. Well, when I get this battle won, I'll be back and we'll have one tire done in 45 minutes. Well, what should have took about 30 minutes, 2 hours later, just now getting the last wheel and tire on the vehicle. That's why I can't get nothing done. It's a daily battle. Everything that I put my two hands on, it's just, yeah. Anyway, the back wheels, I struggled just getting them on the wheel. And then one of them I fought a good 30 minutes to get about that much of the bead to pop out. Well, I finally gave up. I put it back. I put it on the car with 60 pounds of air in it, I think. I said, "Phooey on you. You can stay like that." Well, come over here to this side on the back, putting that wheel back on. I heard a pop. It finally popped out. It's just, yeah, why I can't get nothing done. A daily battle with MLS. Yes, sir, and Reed. Well, now that we got the tires all put on, see if we can get this pulled off of here. I did a little research, and this may not supposed to have a nut on it. Some of the GM ones are pressed on, so I think that's what's going on. It's got threads on that inside shaft, probably to use a pusher to push this back on maybe. But the threads are so rusted inside of this, I'm not sure that this is going to thread on. Yeah. Let me figure out how I'm going to hold this and screw them in. It's just more, you know, more struggle. I'll be back in a little bit. Well, I'm trying to hold it with this pipe wrench on that edge right there. But it's going awful hard. Yep. I don't know that this is going to happen. Yeah, that's all it's going to go. Let me see if I got enough threads on it to pull it off, or we're going to strip threads. I would guess the latter, strip threads. That's just how it goes. Yep. Yep, that's all I did, strip threads. Well, violence. That's the only other choice I got. Yep. When in doubt, choose violence. Don't care if I tear it up or not. I'm fed up with today. Well, it's moving because that clutch is grabbing now, so I'll keep whooping on it. I don't care. Oh, wait a minute. This ain't gonna work. There's a snap ring in here. I gotta get this off. Yep, let me knock that back. Yeah, I forgot about that. There's this. It's just this clutch disc. Then this is held on with a snap ring. Then you pull that off. So let me tear this up real quick because it's probably what's going to happen. Well, I'm having to hold that clutch with this pipe wrench and try to get this puller to screw down in there. I'm probably screwing that clutch up because it looks like it's plastic covered. But I ain't got no choice if I want to get this off of there. Oh, that's all it's going to do. Yep, that's all she's going to do. Whew. It's really rusty. I don't know why, but at least I got it off there. And there's a snap ring laying here. Yeah, I've done broke it. So just throw this in the garbage. Yep. When I was hitting it this way, I knocked a piece of that off. That's what the snap ring goes behind. Yep. Throw her in the garbage. Yep. Well, I went ahead and knocked that pulley off. I just whooped on it with a hammer. And the bearing, well, let me set it right here. You can see the bearing turning. That's not the issue. The clutch is somehow stuck to this pulley is what the issue is, because that clutch is supposed to be separate. That is the issue. So it's junk anyway, so it don't matter that I broke this right here. What did we learn, though? Don't hit on this pulley until you get the snap ring off. You can't get the snap ring off until you get the clutch off. Yeah. Today's been a disaster. So let me go buy a new compressor, what I should have done 4 or 5 hours ago. We'll put it on, and we'll try to fire it up this evening sometime. Well, I spent the last 30 minutes or so putting the old Jolly Green Giant back together. You know, I had pulled the alternator off and stole the tensioner pulley and the power steering pump reservoir. Well, put it together, headed to town to go get the compressor for the car, and look at here.
Well, just look at it. Oh, yeah.
I'll tell you what, today's been a Monday. Yeah. I got a good mind just to go back in the house and say phooey on this day, but I can't. I got to keep on going. Let me get this fixed and go get my compressor. Well, I got her wired up. It's going to flop, but maybe I can make it to town and back. I wanted to show y'all this. Remember the door handles that we put on right before we went to Power Tour? Well, look here. Yeah, part of it's missing. Part of it's sitting right here in the chair. Yep. Good old China made parts. Anyway, let's get in the vehicle and head to AutoZone. Well, I made it back in the Jolly Green Giant. It didn't fall apart. Compressor is on. I'm having to retune it. Remember me telling y'all the other day that I had injector set at like 39 point something or another? And I thought, no, they're 48. Well, that is wrong. They are 42 pound injectors. And I probably cut them back to 39 something, trying to universally affect fueling. But anyway, I'm tuning it now to tell it it's got 42 pound injectors. Also, and oh, by the way, I got to think about this. Remember how, well, I forgot. I got to cut this bolt off. I'll do that in a minute. But remember how, I tried this belt a couple of days ago, and it wouldn't work. None of the belts would act right. Well, it's because that compressor was locked up. The tensioner needed to turn the belt. Well, it can't turn the crank, and then the compressor was locked up. So therefore, this belt would never tighten up unless I manually tighten it up. That's what was going on. Anyway, I just heard something click, I think. Is it done? No, sir. That must be the battery charger. Anyway, as soon as this gets done, we're going to hit the key. And again, cross your fingers, cross your toes, cross your eyes, say your prayers that this pile of garbage will fire up finally. Wait a minute. I forgot I was going to cut this off. Hopefully I don't cut the belt. Well, here we are again, fellas. We was here 2 days ago. Is it going to fire up this time? Or what else is going to happen? Fire in the hole. It's wanting to rev up real high. That's odd. That didn't sound good, whatever that was. Nope. Sure didn't. Well, something else is locked up. Sure has. Won't even turn over. I give up, fellers. I give up. Well, here's the deal. I got the belt off. Y'all watch this right here. Yep, she won't turn at all. Nope. Let's go back the other way and see what it does. Nope. That's good. That's real good. Yep. Well, I don't really know what to say at this point. I'll just be honest with you. Last night, I was done. I was ready to roll it out here, put a for sale sign on it, and get rid of it. It's been a nightmare from day one. Yeah, it blows my mind. I got Trans Am fatigue. I got MLS fatigue. It's ridiculous what I have to go through just to get simple stuff done. And it's a daily battle, fellas, and I'm about over it. Really am. Anyway, come out here today. I'm going to do a little troubleshooting. And I got the valve covers off, as you can see. Pulled all the rockers off because this is really the only thing different about this build. This and the clutch. And I just don't see the clutch causing it to lock up. Anyway, I took all the rocker arms off to make sure none of them are stuck. No bent push rods, no valves sticking down, bent, whatever. I don't see anything. All the valves are same height. Rocker arms, these are the passenger side. None of them are locked up. They all turn just pretty as you please. I don't know, fellas. Ain't got a clue. It makes me think internal bearing, cause it had a screech sound to it right before it quit. And I can't understand or imagine why the bearing would locked up. No clue. Unless the oil pump is quit. Don't think I can think of. Anyway, took all the valve train off, then I raised it up and put my long breaker bar on it. It should turn just a little bit, rock back and forth, something stopping it. That sounds like valve sticking down, but like I said, none of these valves are sticking down, so I ain't got a clue. Let me raise it up and show you what I'm talking about. It'll move just a little bit. It'll turn one way and then stop, won't go no more. Then I can turn it the other way. It'll turn and then my bolt starts loosening up. It's just rocking back and forth a little bit. I don't know what in the world it could be. Ain't got a clue. Not exactly sure what I'm going to do at this point. Well, I know one thing for sure. This is going to get pushed out, pushed over to the side. It may sit there 6 months. It may sit there a year. I may never fool with it again. This was a tremendous amount of work just to get the motor in the car and get everything hooked up. Yep. Not to mention the motor build and the modifications we've done. I'm over it, man. Well, this is 6 weeks now. This shouldn't have took maybe 3 weeks at the most. It's insane what I have to deal with on a daily basis. Well, I'll just go ahead and tell you. I'm to the point that I'm so fatigued from everything. MLS, YouTube, everything. I'm considering shutting the doors on this place and never mentioning this in that garage again. That's where I'm at right now. I'm not sure what's going to happen. The only thing I know right now, let me get in the house, get this video edited and uploaded because this is Tuesday. And maybe I'll see y'all next week. Not sure.